Welcome viewers. Today we will be discussing some key points to note during our mathematics learning experience. We will look at key point number 1. And that key point number 1 talks about creating a conducive atmosphere for our learning experience. So key point number 1 says create a conducive atmosphere for your learning experience. A wise man once said, the atmosphere you create determines the product you produce. The atmosphere you create determines the product you produce. So create something that is comfortable, create an environment that is calm, that is serene, and also quiet, void of distractions. That could be your own conducive environment. Some others, while learning mathematics, may also welcome the idea of some light music, and that helps them in their learning experience. So just the bottom line is create a conducive atmosphere for your learning experience. So the second key point we will be looking at is be determined to understand what you are learning. Be determined to understand what you are learning. Responsibility is the price for greatness, another wise man once said. So you need to be responsible and you need to be self-encouraged to follow through. So be determined to understand what you are learning. Remember that sometimes you may not get to understand what you're learning immediately, but when you revisit the subject matter, you ask questions and practice, you'll get to understand it. So have an open mind, be objective, and take time to be determined to understand what you're learning. Remember, if someone can understand it, then you too can understand it. So we will be looking at key point number 3. And this key point is a basic and also foundational key point to know. It's very key and very critical. So learn your multiplication tables very well. Learn your multiplication tables very well. Like I said earlier, it's a foundational requirement. It's basic. Learn your 1 times table all the way up to your 12 times table and be very familiar with them. The more you practice it, the more you understand it, and of course, the more you see the patterns. This key point number 3 will help you in your multiplication and also in your division experience. So we will be looking at another key point, and that is key point number 4. This is also a very important and foundational requirement in our learning experience. And this has got to do with addition and subtraction. We must learn and practice addition and subtraction. Numbers in the millions, in the thousands, in the hundreds, in the tens, in the units, also in decimals, also adding and subtraction in financial currencies, in the dollar, in the pound, in the naira, in so many other currencies. We need to learn addition and subtraction in fractions, in decimals. It's very important that we learn and make this part of our learning experience. So we will be looking at key point number 5, which is very critical. and it has got to do with being hands-on. Beyond watching videos, beyond listening, beyond researching, make sure you are hands-on. Remember the saying that practice makes perfect, and that is very, very relevant in your learning experience as a mathematician or one who is learning mathematics for one reason or the other. So once you watch the videos, once you enjoy the videos, once you watch them, you've been able to understand them, make sure you get your paper, make sure you get your book, make sure you get your pen, make sure you get your biro, make sure you get your pencil, and begin to walk through those things you have learned. So remember that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So once you've been able to watch and understand, make sure you put it to work by practicing. You need to be hands-on in your mathematical learning experience. So let's take a look at key point number 6. So in this particular key point, we will be emphasizing on the need to understand basic formulae. Formulae is the plural for formula. And also we need to get to understand basic equations relating to various mathematical topics. For instance, we have straight line equations. They have their various equations. We have areas of shapes, areas of circles, areas of triangles, areas of squares, and several other shapes. They also have their own basic equations. So it's good for us to understand these basic equations and also how to apply them based on various mathematical topics. So we will be looking at key point number 7, and that has got to do with observing patterns, observing trends. So during the course of your study and practice, there are definitely patterns and trends you will be observing in various topics. In your times tables, you'll be observing patterns, you'll be observing trends. In various subjects, you will observe patterns and you will observe trends. Make sure you try to document them in your rough notes or in your notebook so that you can keep referring to them. And with time, those observations and patterns already become part and parcel of you, and they will help you in your mathematical journey. Remember, we've just made 7 key points. There are much more key points for us to look at. So this is inexhaustive. So we will be having a second part on these key points. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Kindly subscribe, like, and share.